Okay, as promised, I'm going to do some storytelling in some videos, a little here, a little there, about Dave Sada. So, this story is about the time I cut down his strawberries. So, um, it was during the time he was sick, and I came over to the house. I feel like it was possibly the later summer months of um, 1996, but I'm not sure. So I came over and I said, I'm here to help. What can I do? And Dave said, we were talking, and Dave said, well, the grass really needs cutting outside. And I said, okay, yeah, I can do that. And as I recall, Vicky was surprised. She said, you know how to run a lawnmower? And I said, yeah, I've been cutting grass since I was in middle school. And I said, you don't know how to run a lawnmower? And she said something like, no, she's never run a lawnmower. And I couldn't believe it. And she said something like, I had brothers, and that she didn't want to let them know that she might be able to run a lawnmower. That's kind of how I remember it. So I thought that was interesting. But anyway, so I went out with the lawnmower, and I can remember that day, nice sunny day. I think you had a dog named Mikey, and I think what I did actually first was to take Mikey for a walk, which I'm not a real dog person. I've gotten a little bit better with dogs, but it was kind of interesting to me to go out and like watch Mikey, or I forget if he just ran loose and I kept an eye on him. But I do remember learning that your property there at Bailey Drive went further back than I thought. So, and I can't remember if your dad may have had a vegetable garden like further out back. In my mind's eye, I'm trying to remember. But I remember cutting the grass, and for me, grass cutting can be very relaxing. And, I'm sure it was a time where I was just praying, praying for your dad's healing and for your family. And I was just cutting, right? So, being the super achiever that I sometimes am, when I think your dad might have said to me, "Don't cut my sunflowers down," or something like that. It's kind of vague in my mind. Um, but when I got back up toward the house, so if you were standing facing the property out back, and on the left there was a fence, and I started cutting all the way up. I guess you probably had a patio door that went out to that area. And I was cutting along the fence, and I got super ambitious. I thought I'm going to weed also. So there was all this stuff growing up along the fence, and I was pulling it out, and I took the lawnmower right up to the fence and all. And I came inside and I reported to your dad, Dave, that I had cut the grass and that I had even pulled up all those weeds over by the fence. And he's like, "Wait, you pulled up all that stuff over by the fence?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Those were my strawberry plants." So anyway, that's my story. about how I helped take care of Dave's garden and yard. So anyway, it's a little awkward, weird, making a video telling stories, but I do think like um, voice and vocal tone, um, and the way we remember things as we associate in our mind is part of the storytelling. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the story.